When you were talking to Dan Crenshaw, the little bit of experience I've seen him on the internet has been in confrontational situations, and I see him using Cartel as talking points. And we watched that interview with him, and I kind of felt like he don't know really shit about the cartel, does he? Like, is it just a talking point? Did you
I
feel
didn't get to
any of
see all
that?
that video that you did.
Oh no, you
Yeah, I
haven't.
didn't get to see all of it, but I want to tell you, man. Like, look, I don't like the. I personally don't feel like the minute we don't hear something we
Mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
we're quick to say he's racist. We're quick. He's from Texas. He sees drug traffickers from firsthand. He sees that. Maybe he's not in tune, and maybe that's where I come in into specifics. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he needs to get educated a little bit more. But what I was trying to say is like, just because someone's against drug cartels doesn't mean they're against Mexicans or immigrants. Because somebody doesn't want, tens of thousands of immigrants to be coming the way they're coming, doesn't mean that they're against Hispanic. I think that I don't like that the way that's kind of like
I don't
framed.
really believe that either. I don't really believe that like it's just, purely based on that. Do I feel like some people have an air about them that it's like, everybody's beneath them. Yeah, that's it is what it is. But I don't think that's his motivation. I just think some people pick a cross to bear, right? And I thought his cross to bear was the cartel, and I felt like when he sat down, he was just surprised by things that I wouldn't even expect him to be surprised about, and he was asking questions about things that seemed like common knowledge to a person like me that really didn't follow the situation before he started doing this channel.
All right, so when I sat down, and the reason why he didn't want to put his name, I just think he didn't want to be responsible for something going wrong with me. And the reason why they changed my voice was for that reason. So when I sat down and did the interview, I felt like I followed his lead, and it's like you know everything, but there's people that don't.
Right, right.
So to me, he was asking questions, even though we did have a big classified, meeting, all that. He was
He
still
was
asking
asking for the
questions like,
audience.
you get where I'm getting at? He was trying
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
educate the people, for the audience that was there. So I answered, if you could tell, I answered in the same way. I'm not gonna go in there thinking that everyone knows the whole story. I'm basically following the lead. And for you, just say that we might see a video and you kind of know the whole backstory, whatever the case. So it's easier, right?
No,
But I
absolutely.
took it, from a, like a, it was actually like, it was for audience. And I'm gonna tell you something. He's very smart. One thing I will say, for it's real easy for anyone to say anything about him, and like for someone who served the country, lost people, lost his eyes, was in gun battles. I don't believe he's scared of anything. When he says I want to gun the drug cartels, in his head, he's like, man, you're my enemy. You get me? He's trained in battle. We trained them. The government trained them to go fight the war. He's seen terrible things happen. And he comes back to the United States where it's supposed to be his home, and he sees all this destruction. He sees what's going on right next door. And I'm gonna guess that to him, it doesn't look any different to where he was coming from, you know? And I think that we all have extreme measures. I think that it's always a different way of parenting, right? Like you might, somebody might want to whoop their kids, whatever. I just think it's some of what he's been through and how he sees things, and I really do believe it comes from a place of love. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The
I
love
mean,
of the
yeah,
country, and he's like, you know what?
if that's what you got
Like
from
f
it.
your feelings, f everyone's feelings. You get me? Like like we have to do something different, and I think that's what it is.
Buddy threw the death penalty in the air.
No, what I think, he's looking for answers. So we talked about, deterrence. What's gonna stop young people from out there from
No, you
doing this
made it
kind of
clear
stuff?
to him. The threat of death, what does that mean in the eyes of gotta do what I gotta do?
Well, I would tell you something. For me, I would say, yeah, put more punishment on those violent crimes. What are your? I mean, just let's just go. What's your thoughts on that?
A violent criminal is a violent criminal. I can't sit here and defend somebody that smokes an old lady, or you know what I'm saying? Now,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Or even like let's be honest. You like You know how it is. They just say the shot gangbanging. You know what I'm saying?
Right
Like,
now,
yeah, you go kill somebody. That's the life you want to be. You want to be a tough dude. Okay, look, you rape somebody. It should be 20 years automatic.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like there's a place for you. I mean, if you ask me, you eradicate them, but that's not. We don't live in
But you
those
get what
times.
I'm getting at? Like, you
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
somebody. Like, just say, here, I'm just trying to say, I'm not, remember, I'm not no one to judge. I'm just saying, but what if the laws, what if they're, because it's hard, man. Like, and if you tell me, well, yeah, I don't want to see a young kid dying, because they get shot or something like that. But one thing, that did change is like when the laws got hard, it did change the landscape of the United States, right? In some places it didn't, just so there's different things. But I'm not against it. And like, who would be against,
I just think with the
who
culture the
could.
way it is right now, you could threaten these kids with double life, and they're gonna go off
But
their
you know what?
emotions,
Then it comes.
and they're
It
gonna
comes.
smoke
I'm gonna
something.
tell you, a hard head makes for a soft ass, right? Then guess what? Bet you try to tell them that's why there are gonna be people like me. There are gonna be people like you, or right now, what other people are doing with different. For those people who are really mean it, who really are trying to say, hey, yo, young kids in every criminal, stop it, don't do it. You get me? Who are trying to lead you in the right way. I like I said, listen to the other podcast earlier. We talk about Berto. Locked up since he was 18, did 18 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, he was a kid when he came out. You know what I'm saying? A kid when he went in, it's just, and you think about that. He's like, look, this is something you shouldn't do. So you think about that, you know, man, why not? Why not be, save a life by, you know, being real hard on those violent criminals so that they don't, go kill somebody for $20 at the 7-Eleven. You know what I'm saying? No, just my belief, You see, but here, like Chucky, I think it's society's gonna tell you better jobs for the streets. I think it starts with us getting educated on what it requires. Like, man, there's schools all over our neighborhoods, right? And let's be honest. I don't care what neighborhood you are, man. Shy, you from the north side, I'm from the south side. Let's be honest, bro. Little village, man, it has fucking there's what 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 gang members. Little village has a community of what, maybe 130, 140,000 people. They're not all bad. I know a lot of people went got their education. They're not got the best jobs, but they got education. You go, not everyone's gonna, have a, $2 million a year job. You know what I'm saying? You have to work for that, but there is chances. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about that, Shy? Right? Some of those just choose to go to the street. Some of those don't have a chance. Like, that's true. But I think when people say, "Well, how about better jobs?" Like,
Well,
man,
here's the
there's
thing:
schools everywhere.
you'll see every type of different person. You'll see the kid that had no choice but to hit the street, right? I've seen that kid come up out of that shit, get a job, live a life, have a family. I've seen the kid that could have gone the easy route, go the hard route,
Yeah, they'll go the hard route. Yeah,
not get
and
out. Some of them got out too, but it's like
hey,
it's the person that you are
eh,
that makes the difference. What you got inside you that makes the difference.
yeah, yeah. Hey, no, you're getting the story wrong.
What story? Oh, tell us the
Arturo's
story
not
right.
getting. They got it mistaken for Arturo's people because they thought that Arturo's people did business with them, people that Edgar was actually speaking to. But it wasn't Arturo, but it was Macho Preto's people. They got him confused and killed them.
So he was
And
with some people that they potentially were looking for.
meaning they just got it confused, but he was with some people that they thought associated with the Beltran Leyvas, not Arturo himself. But and if you pay attention to that video of Ocran leaks, he says that everyone already knew that they had to report everything because usually they have the radios on blast and you know everyone's on that same line, and for some reason they didn't use it, and they got him confused and killed Chapo's son. And then that's why basically they had to send Macho Preto to Sonora to get him out of the Culiacan because Chapo wanted to kill him basically.
But who wanted to save him?
Well, Mayo and his people, I mean, because it was a mistake. You get me? it was a mistake, but still,
Right. Huerito didn't get that.
and they didn't want to. I guess he understood it too, but I guess he didn't want to be like parade around or be hearing of dude being in the city doing this, doing that. You get me?
Right, right. All in his face with the shit.
Yeah, you get me? But it was a mistake. And if you hear the story on that video, there's other people that are not mentioned, but I actually knew Edgar. Edgar was probably the most business one of all of them. Real, like, he was different for sure. But later on, they're gonna mistake a really good friend of mine's at the time, and he was our partner. Um, People know him as El Animal. They mistake his son, and end up killing him too. And that was the Beltranle was actually killed them. Young kid, innocent kid, you know, a good kid. I mean, that was actually no, that was a mistake. I mean, state. They thought he was Chapo's son, but it didn't matter because by that time, and it's a long story, but by that time, you know, um, the Beltranle was already had, you know, um, I guess by that time Animal already had pick size, so I guess anything went. I guess I'm not sure.
Gucci Cano had a $10 super chat and asked, "Did the Twins have people in West Michigan? Also, did y'all mess with a lot of people from Durango or spend time in Durango? I'm from Telejuanes."
Well, I only spent time in Durango when I was there. Mm, when I'd go see Mayo, and then that's where Mayo actually hid for a long time. But that's where we'd go see him. But in the mountains by Tamasula.
West Michigan.
Michigan, we people in Detroit. I don't know if they're where they were at, but people in Detroit. I mean, that was our place. What's the best legal business to get into, in their opinion?
Chief Keef been trying to get that question out for like 2 months and it always falls through the cracks. So I'm glad you're here.
Mm, well, that's. I mean, you're saying like it's just a legal business, right? Like something to do legal. I don't know. Like my opinion is gonna be biased, because of course I like logistics. So I'm into whatever you could grow volume wise. I like logistics because, to me anyway, you could grow it. It's one truck or 10 trucks or 30 trucks or 40 trucks. I mean, and you could do multiple streamings, right? At one time, I'm more, I mean, that's my opinion, my personal opinion. Um, I guess there's so many different opportunities. It all depends on what you're into because I like, for instance, I know that I feel like I could get into any business. Like me myself, like I could see like right now if there's a need, like I'm not into restaurants, but if there's a need, for the right, you know, where it's needed, I feel like anytime you have that demand, there's a lot of kind of businesses, right?
Kelly Price been asking, and we answered this with Maya earlier, but he's been asking about if you seen people doing devil worship or heard about them doing
Mm,
weird shit like that. He's back curious.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was common, but I don't know. I've heard about it, but like to us, it's like I don't know. I just feel like it's almost like people like the media takes like what they hear one person is doing and they kind of run with it. You know what I'm talking about? I didn't see like no fucking drug dealers doing that. I don't know. I heard of people like
I
of doing
think
that, but
it's a sensationalized thing, but again, you could tell them exactly what it is, and if it isn't what they imagined in their head, it won't be right.
I
They
think it
make
goes
some
back to some of the
fantastical things.
stories you heard, like just say like the killers or the people, and
Hmm.
bro, it's like it's different. I try to explain that it's not like not everybody's a cartel, bro. You know, it's like if they pick up a pistolero somewhere doing some fucking devilish shit because he's got devil in his mind. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a killer. You know what I'm saying? Doing that kind of stuff, and the next thing you know, it gets passed on that everyone does it, which is bullshit. I do see a lot of santeria. Like I came across a lot of those dudes that go to Cuba and get those cleansing. What do you call those things? Yeah, the limpieza, but they do the whole thing. You get me? Where they wear white for whatever a whole year.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I'm sure somebody in the chat can help.
You know what I'm talking about? They do all that. I did that.
Absolutely.
I did see a lot of that they put on the certain collares, but I think that's all goes back to what they believe to be kind of like energy and golly or whatever. I want to make it clear.
Mm.
Albert Flores, bro, it's contrary to what you believe. Like when I see that Chapo really tough, bro. Chapo didn't give a fuck about Barbie. Like it's kind of like it's just weird because it's just like it almost sounds good, but from my understanding, Barbie kind of confessed that he's the one that told on them. Remember through the letter she sent to the president. So did you? I mean, that's a good story you guys pick up. He sent letters to the president, and then he did an interview with Annabelle Hernandez or something. He states how Arturo used to be, go crazy. Damn, I just remember about a story, but Arturo used to go crazy and then would want to kill him at times. And Barbie was scared of him because he was like really high on drugs and he was going crazy because
Wilding
he was
out.
at war.
Yeah. No, I was just talking about how crazy that is. How you got to worry about the people that you're around fucking wilding out all the time and shit. Shout out to Gucci Cano for the $5 super chat. He said, "How was Damaso Jr. and Mini Leak? I heard he lived very lavish. And do y'all have any interaction with Mini Leak?"
Mm, I don't remember personally meeting Nick when I was there, but I wouldn't argue with him living a lavish life. He was part of the whole narco juniors, right? Stuff. But I did do business with his father. I knew his father very well.
Tell us about some of the rules as far
Mm,
as what type of timeline do they give y'all to pay work back, and what happens if a load gets robbed or picked up by the cops? Do y'all still got to pay that?
mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do. The one thing they don't know how to do is take losses. After a while, I think that's what made us different. Sometimes even when it's not a story, but like it gets to a point where the bosses didn't take losses after a while. So that means that even when they lost stuff, and like if we were all coming in the load or something, and they lost, we lost the load, and they had to put majority part. We would all pitch in just so that they didn't take a loss. But yeah, you pay for everything. And then, and time wise, I mean, it depends, man. It's not like a set time, but we didn't have that issue though. Like in Mexico, they don't get credit, so it's different.
Do they
I'm not
take
saying
it?
they wouldn't, but they just don't.
Yeah, because
So
people are always asking that. They're always saying, "Oh, they owed this, they owed that," but I thought it was part of y'all business model to not owe shit.
no, yeah, like it's people make dumb comments. Like, of course, like sometimes we owed, sometimes like it varied. Sometimes they owed us, like but it's like you know, you know, sometimes they give us stuff that I wouldn't be able to pay for, you know, by far, and it all depends. But we just were at an advantage where we wouldn't like take our man. I just don't want to talk about that kind of stuff because now I'm getting into giving people ideas that I just don't want to talk about
All
it.
right, that's cool.
But put it this way, you don't have a lot of time. All right, it's not even about time. It's about you become an like if you're applying for a credit card, they kind of look at you and like, okay, what are you capable of doing? What are you capable,
Hmm.
and how much time you have,
Hmm.
and then you
Make an
know,
assessment.
yeah, they make an assessment on you, and it just depends. It's just like I don't, just it depends, I guess.
Hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't feel comfortable even talking about that. To be honest,
That's cool.
it doesn't work like you think it is. It's not like oh, you got a week,
Hmm.
Because what happens if just put things in perspective? What happens if you're not done in a weekend? You're still paying them. You give me what? It's not always about the numbers. It's just how you fix up the business.
Is there any long term thinking in that game, or is it all just everybody's just is haywire? Because like you say, it's more than just numbers. Sometimes it's bringing something to the game that's gonna make the game move better. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like man, that's what I want to say. Like when I always say that we're businessmen, 'cause it's just always about business. It's not always a bit about a number. What if I tell you that at times I could have paid a really high number that you probably wouldn't have believed of,
Mhm.
But on the other side of it, I made more money off a business deal because I did that. It would
Right.
be hard for you to understand that. But it's always you lose here, win some here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
Give
always a give and
back,
take
take.
game.
Yeah, and it's how you put business together. That's what makes people successful. So I'm gonna tell you, if I just went on a number game, then I probably would have been messed up. With how you get in, how you get in where you fit in, how you're able to put business deals together. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I think that was my man. He's my good friend, man. I have much respect for him. I did 10 years with him. Uh, man, I have so many memories with him. He was a really good friend, man. I had some real hard times where he was there for me. It's weird because I think that he always took back and he would be like, man, he was always taking back that I could be emotional and not care. I remember I had some family drama and I got a little emotional. And I remember him telling me, and he told me in Spanish, like, no way, para que no te miren así, way.
Hmm.
Like for me
Get
to
it
hide or
together.
something. I'm like, man, give a fuck. And then he always told me after that he looked, he just like looked at me in a different way. Like he respected that I just didn't care.
Right.
That's why I always say it's weird because I know people be thinking like I know and prison is prison no matter where you're at. Like, and I know there's some real hard dudes and stuff, but one thing you can't like a real man, real people are gonna respect real feelings, and I think that you know it's weird. He was a certain way, and I understood it, and vice versa. But I think that I did in a weird way, kind of like teaching him. I kind of taught him a lot about being able to accept other things of life. I think.
Did you meet him in the joint, El Tigrillo? You knew, buddy.
No, yeah, I met him. I met him in there. I mean, I knew who he was, but I met him
Right,
while I
right.
was in there. Actually, I want to say that. Put it this way: he started playing basketball because of me. And at that time, I'm always been like a 3-point shooter, and I would, always like teach him, man. And he got good. He actually could play. He got good. Like he wasn't, he wouldn't dribble, but he was a hustler. He was fast. When I talk about he was fast, yo,
Hmm.
he was like, and he played defense and did all that. Like, but he also started a lot of issues. He didn't understand like the American way, the way we play. You know how it is, right?
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
like someone hits you probably hard or something. You get me?
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you know how it is.
County
Sometimes,
ball.
like, huh?
County ball.
Yeah, like Connie, but just say like what he didn't understand. All right, just say that we were tired, or just say like not okay, not just say that the game needed to calm down or something because whatever. And he didn't understand when someone would go up to someone and just smack them. You get me?
Hmm.
To stop the ball, and he
Right.
didn't understand that. So
Right,
he would
right.
get like he to him that was offensive. Like what the fuck?
He start a war
Oh
over
my
some shit.
god, yo, you don't understand, yo. You know how many times I had to actually just yeah, man.